Hey friends, it's Carissa here. I was just thinking that I'd come on and chat with you a little bit about physical fitness. As a lot of you may know, I started out as a spa person, as an esthetician running a little organic spa room, and moved into being a holistic health coach. Talked a lot about nutrition and all that kind of stuff. That metamorphosized and evolved into emotional health being the focus, because the health of the skin is so telling to the health of the emotional body, and from there into mental health, and then into spirituality and creativity. And so here I am today doing that. But I've kind of gotten out of the habit of talking about fitness and nutrition because it's become so automatic for me that I just don't even think about it anymore. I don't have to read about it. I don't do as much research as I used to. And it's kind of just on automatic pilot. And that's what can happen after you focus on something for such a long period of time. It becomes integrated into who you are and into your day, and you don't even realize how much you're doing for yourself until you go to share it. So I just wanted to share with you, and especially women, a lot of this will pertain especially to women, and particularly to women who are over 35 or who are in perimenopause or menopause. Speaking of pause, because a lot of this is about how things can backfire or how things can be much easier for you, all depending on what your hormones are doing. At any rate, started out this whole thing as a personal trainer. I was in my early 20s and I worked in the same gym as a trainer as my mom worked out in. She loved working out. She was really into it. And it was fun for me too, to take women through a workout and to show them and see the look of surprise on their face when they realized how strong they were and they didn't think that they were. I just loved it. It was fun. The gym had a family atmosphere. It was privately owned. It used to be a Holiday Health Spa, and then the owners bought it out. It's called New Image Fitness. It was just a great little club in Dayton. When I left there, however, and went to find a gym to work out at, I did not find the same atmosphere. I found myself in places where I felt like a prey item, surrounded by predators, harassment. I mean, you name it. It was just a very uncomfortable environment, every gym that I went to. And so I kind of gave up on going to gyms. And I had to find other ways to keep fit, without being in that environment that I couldn't stand to be in anymore. And so I found some things that just work. One of the things that I found first was yoga. There are all different forms of yoga here in the US now. I mean, it's like a smorgasbord. The one that I started out with as a beginner, and as most beginners usually start with, is just a beginner hatha, to begin to understand the practice of yoga. It's not just physical exercise. Yoga means union. It means to yoke. You're yoking your physical body, your physical experience, your physicality with that which is beyond the physical, with your mental self, your emotional self, your energy, your spirit, everything. It becomes unified in this practice of yoga. And the mind-body connection that is so critical to fitness as we get older, yoga is perfect for cultivating that. So for many, many, many years, yoga was all I did. I didn't step foot in a gym during the yoga years, and I actually got kind of this little snotty attitude towards gym rats, like, you're still going to the gym and pumping iron. I clearly got rid of that attitude, but yeah, it was kind of funny there for a while that I just thought that it was all about yoga and that was it. But for me as a woman, with gyms and the fitness world being very male dominated, focused on male physiology and biochemistry, yoga felt like the place where I belonged. So I did that for a long time. And then once I got to a certain age, I found that the yoga was not enough to keep me fit in the way that I was used to. I was used to having a good amount of lean muscle mass. I was used to having strong toned body, being able to lift heavy things, and the yoga was not keeping me there. I was starting to have some hormonal changes with perimenopause, progesterone deficiency, dealing with bloating during times where I shouldn't have been dealing with abdominal bloating, all kinds of different symptoms related to my body just being a little out of balance and needing a better fitness system that looked at me as a whole person and as a woman, not as a man pumping iron. There are critical differences. I know that human beings, gender is a fluid thing. It is a spectrum. We're not totally binary the way that we think we are. But when it comes to fitness, everyone's physicality has a certain way that it leans at certain times and periods of life. And you're going to have to pay attention to your lean if you're leaning more toward this kind of androgenized kind of male version, where you would benefit from the very typical workout routines that they talk about in gyms, or whether you're leaning over here and you really need something that's designed more for a female body with different hormonal considerations than that. You know your hormonal situation better than anybody does because you're living in your body. You know what you have going on, regardless of your gender identity, sexual preference, or any of that. Biochemically, you got to know what's going on, where you lean, so that you know what strategy to take. For me, I'm way over here. I lean definitely toward the female side of the spectrum. My testosterone levels, however, have tested on the high side of normal for most of my life. I've practiced hormone testing throughout my life to see where I am, what my normal levels are. They're different. Everybody is different. And keeping myself within a range that is healthy, that's going to help prevent certain cancers, that's going to prevent problems that come from my hormones going out of balance. So I've been tested frequently in the past. And the things that I'm finding now that are helping me to stay fit, yoga. Still, to this day, I'm finding it very helpful for my connective tissue, my fascia, keeping things from getting bound up, and preserving that mind-body connection where I'm tuned in with my physical body, what it's asking for, what it needs, what it doesn't want. I'm also finding that this book, and hopefully the type isn't backward, I'll learn how to flip the mirror in this program. This is the metabolic typing diet that I used with most of my health coaching clients. And it is based on the same principle that Ayurveda and Chinese medicine are, the doshas of Ayurveda. And all of our ancient holistic health systems tell us we're not all the same. A one-size-fits-all diet does not work for everybody. There are different types, and people fall into certain types metabolically and biochemically. This book was great for just getting people into the ballpark of realizing what they needed to eat, with so much confusing information and misinformation on the interwebs about what to eat. You can literally choose to eat rocks, and there's going to be some website out there that says, yeah, eating rocks is the best way to, it's crazy. This cut all the confusion for me and for most of my clients, gave them a starting point. And then, beyond that, a program that I found that I really liked is geared for women because it understands that sometimes as a woman, if you work out hard and you restrict your diet, especially your carbs, you can actually gain more weight than if you wouldn't have done that at all. You will particularly gain belly fat. Some women will put it on their hips and their thighs. But when you add a really hard, same kind of workout that they promote in these male-dominated, male-style gyms, work harder, more reps, more weight, push past the point where you want to stop. This very masculine mentality to working out is great for men and for people whose bodies are wired to respond to that. For me, and for most women, for most people who identify as women, that don't work. If I did that to my body, it would register as a form of stress. My cortisol levels would go up. And a lot of people know now when your cortisol goes up, what happens? You feel incredibly stressed. You feel hungry and you cannot get enough food, and you probably aren't going to crave the right kinds of food. And you put on stubborn belly fat, which does not come off with exercise. So hormones become very key to staying fit. You can actually hang on to this muscle without, I don't lift, I don't pump iron anymore. And I still have good lean muscle mass. I don't have a bunch of unwanted belly fat, and I'm not very restrictive about the way that I eat. I just understand that exercising hard and restricting intake of food too much is considered stress to a woman's body. Our bodies do not respond well to that kind of stress, and we gain weight and we feel awful. I mean, you could be at the point of tears leaving the gym because you've worked so hard and you have this trainer pushing you and telling you to lift harder, and you're at the point of just having a breakdown, and your body doesn't like it either. So it's counterintuitive to this workout culture that tells you to push harder and do more and eat less. Not going to work. We have to give ourselves time to recover after the workout, during the workout, in between reps and sets. Recover. We have to have that break. We have to give ourselves time with our friends to decompress. Our cortisol levels plummet when we have positive social interactions. When we do things like meditate, when we do things like gentle yoga, cortisol goes down. When that goes down, your appetite goes down for food. Your appetite for food you don't need, okay? Your belly fat shrinks without you moving a muscle. And all of the other positive health factors come in. When your cortisol's high, it's just so bad for your whole being. Get that cortisol down, you're overall going to feel happier, more content, less irritable, less stressed. Most of the things that I'm talking about now were the same kinds of things that I told my health coaching clients back in the day. But I gotta admit, I was kind of a TMI girl. I kind of gave people too much information because I love facts. I love research. I'm a nerd, okay? I like all that kind of stuff. I gave people too much information about biochemistry they didn't need. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of what I said was just lost on people. And fortunately, there's someone who's a little bit better at it than me. This program, Metabolic Renewal, Dr. Jade. No, I don't get kickbacks or commission from this person. This is just what I use on myself at this point in life. And what he teaches is a much more concise version of what I was trying to give to my clients, and much more thorough. And it breaks it down for each hormone type. Everyone is different. Like we said, there's the 3 metabolic types. And Dr. Jade says there's 6 hormone types. And the way he breaks it down in his program, you can see very clearly, according to your symptoms and how you're wired, where you fall. And there's an exact program of eating style and exercise, which takes 15 minutes. You don't have to go to a gym. You don't have to work to the point of being in pain or sweating profusely and losing all your minerals and electrolytes, which for women is a very bad idea. Don't do that if you don't have to. You don't have to do any of that. It takes 15 minutes, just a couple times a week. And you're restoring your mind-body connection. You're giving yourself a chance to rest, which is probably what you need more than working out hard. You probably need rest. Rest is encouraged in this program. Balance, eating enough and not crazily restricting your carbs or your calorie intake. That's not healthy. We need fat to make our sex hormones. We need fat and cholesterol to make sex hormones. If you don't eat any fat, how's your body supposed to make hormones? Out of thin air? We need that. And this program acknowledges that. And the metabolic typing diet acknowledges that. All of this information is coming together in this beautiful, simple point, this confluence of, no, you don't have to go to the gym and kill yourself. That's not good for women. No, you should not be working out to the point of crying. That's stress, and it's going to raise your cortisol levels, and you're going to gain weight, and you're going to be even more confused and disillusioned and upset when that happens than if you wouldn't have gone to the gym. So please, give yourself a chance. If you do feel that this very male-dominated push, no pain, no gain, if that appeals to you, you go to the gym, you love it, you feel fired up, you feel good after that, do that. But if it is not working for you, it's not because you have failed or there's something wrong with your body or there's something just wrong with fitness in general. It's none of those things. It's just that style of workout only works for certain people. And you got to find what works for you as an individual. And that's what what I found, I'm a seeker. I just kept looking until I found something that worked for me. Metabolic Renewal style workouts. There's a little DVD they have. And at this point, I mean, I've been doing this stuff long enough. I don't have to look at the DVD. I know what to do. I just get on my yoga mat, and it's a combination of yoga and those exercises, and also some very structured stretching that I do to help keep my core muscles balanced. I tend to get out of balance with that. So it's kind of this combo little workout that doesn't take more than 15 to 30 minutes if I do everything. And with that, the way that I eat and mind-body connection, I stay toned and fit, and my stress and my cortisol levels are low. So that when things like a pandemic happen, I have the hormonal, adrenal, and psychological resource to get through it without freaking out too much. So I feel like I'm going on, and I don't want to do that. I'm just very passionate about holistic health. And I just want you to know that if you just want to feel good and be fit and healthy, that maybe that one strategy that's the most promoted and the most common and that you hear the most in gyms, maybe that's not the one for you. And there are other ways, and they're worth exploring. And if you want to chat about it sometime, just get at me on my website. Contact information is below. Subscribe to this channel. I'm always talking about something about health and wellness and evolution here. And I really hope that you understand now and you're inspired now that you can be fit and healthy without having to carve hours and hours out of your life to feel horrible in a gym just to get there. There are other ways. Start exploring. Be well.